Shout out to the Blue Foundation. What's up, everybody? Happy post-Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Red Friday, as I like to call it. Still in the deep breads over here. Still got opportunities aplenty, left and right, up and down, all around. We got opportunities. We're chipping away, making it happen. All right, let's jump into it, guys. Once again, not a financial advisor. I'm not a pro trader, and I'll never tell you what to do. I am always wrong, but the Blue Foundation is always right. This is the worst show with the best community. We got the best community jumping on in. Hopefully the connection is great today. I'm with you, El Prey. Shout out to El Prey jumping on in. Shout out to Jagram jumping on in. How are you, my man? Good to see you. 50 Cent in the house. Go for the gold. Yep, the race for gold is on. AVAX bullish news for Q1 2026 in EU, USA. Hey, man, it's not only going to be AVAX, I'm sure. I'm sure it's not only going to be AVAX. If AVAX is doing some good things, chances are there's going to be a handful or maybe even more than a handful of others. We've been talking about how bullish and excited we are for the first week of December to at least get some relief rally from all the selling that has been going on. They have to liquidate the shorts, man. They have to start eventually liquidating the shorts by giving us some hope that we're out of the dump, right? So hopefully we get some good stuff. But yeah, Avalanche, that one's definitely looking like a prime deep red right now, especially while it's sub $20, while we can still get it. Has an X in its ticker. Hey, anything that's shaped like a triangle, a circle, or a square is looking like it's going to probably be bullish in this future. I mean, Squid Game told you everything, man. It's going to be an X world, and the guards are a triangle, a circle, and a square, right? We got the 22 major arcana, the 22 paths to creation, the 22 major platforms that'll probably be running everything in the future. But yeah, Avalanche, Solana, they love their fire and ice combination, right? Avalanche and Solana definitely looking like they're going to be the top two in terms of major gains coming up. Chainlink is going to probably be doing some major things as well, guys. They're the leading Oracle solution. USA is going to probably be using Chainlink heavily. Swift is going to probably be using Chainlink heavily. Already, we called it with the dud for ISO 20022, of course, because we're in this Mercury retrograde. Guys, it ends. Is it today? It ends tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day of this freaking brutal Mercury retrograde that we have been going through. I'm excited for the first week of December. December 2nd's got some interesting astrology going for it. December 8th has got some interesting astrology for it. And then you got the Coinbase update that's coming up on December 17th. Apparently going to be a major update. AVAX will provide regulated platform for Securitize, best of success for all. Yeah, I mean, Securitize is connected with more than just Avalanche, though. Let's just remember that. Securitize, we definitely dig the platforms that Securitize is connected with. Things like Wormhole, Arbitrum, Avalanche, Optimism, right? Ripple XRP, let's not forget, very early days, Securitize and Ripple made a, early position, one of the very first ones, right? Can't forget that. She is Moonfeather. Happy Thanksgiving. Shout out to you. Happy late Thanksgiving, everybody here. Once again, appreciate everybody double tapping the screen for the like. Helps us grow, helps us keep doing what we're doing here. But yeah, guys, chipping away. I'm just chipping away on X's, man. Anything that has an X in the front of its ticker, I'm accumulating. I know there's SHX as well. We got to consider SHX as maybe, a consideration there or an exception to the rule. I mean, AVAX has, an X in the end of its ticker as well. But if you got an X in front of your ticker, I am scooping you up, man. I am just laser focused on XRP, XLM, XDC, XPX, XTZ, XX Network, XCN, XYO, XCP, right? Can't forget about Counterparty that is going to be bringing tokenization and NFTs to the Bitcoin blockchain. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Counterparty. Counterparty's got, millions of a supply, right? It's not in the billions of supply, and that's an X crypto as well to keep an eye out for. I know some people like XNA as well, Neural Chain or Neural AI. But yeah, focusing on the X cryptos, focusing on blue cryptos. Hell, if you're a blue X crypto, XNO, right? XTZ, XRP, right? Not too bad. Not too bad. It's a blue future, without a doubt. Going X. Yeah, I'm going X, man. I mean, I'm happy with all my other positions in the, the deep reds that we accumulated over the summer. Now I'm just laser focused on ISO 20022 X cryptos, decentralized recovery cryptos, self-amending cryptos, as full of a freaking stack as possible type of cryptos. The future is an X. They've been telling us, and I'm just freaking listening. I'm just using my ears and I'm using my eyes. If it's going to be X money on X, with X rails, X identity, X this, X that, then, it's going to probably be X rails that this thing is freaking running on, right? It's going to probably be running on XLM because XLM is the front end, right? Where XRP is the settlement and the back end, right? You're going to have both of them being the Pepsi and Coca-Cola, one that the people use, one that the banks want to use, and they don't want the people having it, right? Either way, you're going to need some lumens, right? Shout out to Severance. I need tokens. I need tokens to eat, right? That famous quote from that show. We're using our ears. We're listening, right? The green revolution that's going to be coming in 2028, setting ourselves up for that. The eco-friendly X cryptos, right? The NIST and KYC aligned X cryptos. Plasma, for sure. Topsy Creddy. I mean, I'm trying to remember all the X cryptos off the top of my head, but yeah, Plasma, early days X crypto right now for XPL. Of course, there's OpenX AI, but that's got the X outside of the front of the ticker. But hey, just focusing on the X's. Focusing on the X's. This is a big year for V coming up. So Block V, V-Chain. This is going to be a big year in 2026 coming up for the V cryptos because we're halfway through the journey for the full X to be happening, right? You're getting Toy Story V coming out. You're getting Shrek V coming out. How many, sequels that are in their 5th installment are coming out this year? It's freaking insane, right? They're already telling you in front of your eyes. Michael Park, 8390. Dude, shout out to you. Thanks for becoming a Jolly Green Giant, my man. Look at you with your little Interledger egg, man. And if you're a member long enough, that Interledger egg cracks open, and there's a little green giant in there just for you that's just getting ready to grow. Just found out my sister's pregnant. So excited to be a dad. Dude, Elkslayer, congratulations, man. Congratulations. Now you got another member of the family that you got to save some XRP for. That you got to save some drops for. Giant in the house. What's up, 50 Cent? Shout out to you, man. But yeah, focusing on the X cryptos. Dude, decentralized recovery is going to be so important, and people are still sleeping on the importance of decentralized recovery. The importance of decentralized cloud storage, right? We're going to be going into an era where they call it fogging or fog cloud or something like that. Fogware, or we're going to go from edge computing and cloud to something called fogging, right? I'm totally getting it wrong, but I know it has to do with something with fog, right? That's where cloud is going to be evolving to. We are building data centers today. In the future, in probably, 8 years, 10 years, you're going to have data cities, right? So middle of 2030 is going to be freaking ridiculous. The dependence, dude, all the data that we continue to feed, our phones, our computers, our laptops, these devices, these apps, right? All that data has got to go somewhere, and it's going into these data centers. It's not going into the cloud. It's going into the machines. Right? It's going into hard-built machines that can retain the information, that can store all that information, right? That can store all that data. So right now they're building data centers, and then eventually there's not going to be a place left to build data centers, but within the cities. You're going to have to transform these cities into themselves. They call it smart cities, but really they're just trying to call them data cities, right? You're going to have data centers and all this frequency just messing with your actual human frequency, right? If you ever read the book, The Machine Stops, what happens? The people are so dependent on technology, so dependent on AI, right? That they are weak. They are literally weak. They have like no muscle. They don't promote that. If you are getting stronger physically, then that means you're not producing ideas in this world of the AI, right? So then that makes you eligible for homelessness, right? Where you don't even deserve to be, because if they're giving this to you and you're not even using it to its capabilities, then you just don't deserve a home, right? They want us to be weak. They want us to not be strong. They want us to not be healthy, right? They want us to not be mentally healthy, right? You know, this is the trade-off for all the convenience that we're getting and all this amazing stuff with AI and technology and all that type of stuff. That's the trade-off, is a weaker human race, right? I'm not going to let that happen, man. I'm going to be taking care of my body. I'm going to be eating healthy, right? Going to be unplugging more and more only when it's intentional, right? Not just to pass the time. Funny, today Neptune goes direct into Pisces. It means fog is lifting out of the delusion. Ooh, interesting timing with bringing that up. Then she is Moonfeather. Ghostware OS, there we go. Got to check out what Ghostware is. GHOST. Is that a new kid on the block, Topsy, that everybody's excited for, that hasn't even transacted billions upon billions of dollars in its system, but we just fully trust it to just be a badass technology? Is that what Ghost is? I'll check it out. All right, so let's see. Another thing to keep an eye out for, guys, this with this green revolution that's coming up, Bitcoin is going to be affected big time. And this is possibly how 99% of cryptos could go away. The cryptos that have not been, thinking about being eco-friendly, reaching a carbon neutral state, reliant on centralized rails, reliant on centralized technologies for mining, right? This is going to be a big shock. Over 80% of Bitcoin, or, you could just say 80% of Bitcoin is still mined in China, you guys. I don't know how you feel about that. That doesn't make me very secure, especially with all these trade wars or tariffs that are going on, right? Man, how does China get the US in its pocket? Freaking get the US obsessed with Bitcoin and then freaking destroy them. Freaking destroy them and be the freaking savior of the US, right? They say, "Oh, it's too bad that you believed in Bitcoin. Here's some money. Here's some real digital money that we were able to make, tremendous profits off of. You fell for the trick of Bitcoin. Congratulations." PIP network 0005. All right. Appreciate the tigers in the room just shouting it out because everybody knows I'm just X-focused over here. But I appreciate you guys shouting it out to the other Blue Foundation over here. Happy Saturday from New Zealand. Shout out to you at XRP Hustle Hard. Yeah, if they peg XRP to gold, it's a wrap for BTC. I mean, there's so many writings on the wall for BTC, right? If BTC was so great, right? If it was digital gold, right? This whole market would be just just become BTC, right? If BTC was so great, it'd be able to do everything that these other digital tokens are able to do, everything else that these digital platforms are able to do. Apparently, it's just good at token. It's not even that good at freaking value transfer. It really isn't, right? Are they talking about XRP to gold? I certainly hope so. That would be amazing. D Curry, hey man, I'm digging that X. I'm digging that X, man. That crypto, the big star, can't stop it. Can't stop freaking accumulating the big star. The most full stack technology in this whole space that has streaming, data, and storage all in one. Right? All in one. All in freaking one. Right? NIST completely aligned, part of their validator program. Right? That's or validated, or they got like a certificate, right? This is a big deal if you're looking to work with governments and banks. This is why we've been talking about the importance of being NIST aligned, especially with your cryptography. If your cryptography is not aligned with National Institute Standards of Technology, right? If it's not aligned with the National Institute Standards of Technology, very much good luck to you, because you're really not serious about trying to transact trillions upon trillions of dollars or doing billions upon billions of dollars in volume, right? You want to work with the banks. You want to work with the governments. you got to be NIST aligned. It is an absolute must. Your cryptography must be NIST aligned. This is one of the best filters in the whole space to try to figure out which blockchains can actually reach those $1 trillion market cap marks, right? Not just only off speculation, but off utility alone, right? So very excited for the one that they're trying to keep out of everybody's sight, the one that they have absolutely fooled everybody but the Blue Foundation, right? People have forgotten about that CBDC tech sprint, by the way. People have totally forgotten about it. People never even considered it at all, even when the CBDC tech sprint announcement was made, right? It just made them more bullish on XRP and Stellar and R3. Didn't even make them bullish on the winner, right? If you had to choose 3 cryptos, which ones would you choose? XRP, XLM, and XPX, man. Those would be the 3 I would choose, Hugo Gutierrez. And then XDC is the close 4th. XTZ, Tezos. XX Network. SHX, you got to love SHX as a Nacha preferred partner for the ISO 20022 experience. I mean, SHX, the founder, created the first ever digital stablecoin, on a blockchain ledger, right? He created the first USD stablecoin for XRPL. He created the first Australian stablecoin on the XRPL. He created the first stablecoin that got adopted by IBM, the Stronghold USD, right? So Stronghold SHX is definitely a major sleeper and definitely one of the considerations to the rule of you need to have the X ticker in front of your thing. SHX has got the little x, right? Because it's a little sleeper, right? They don't want you to know about SHX either. What's up, Bloopity Bloop? Good to see you. But those would be the 3 that I would choose for right now, Hugo. I think all 3 of them are still severely undervalued and underappreciated. Everybody else gets hyped up when they do research on all these other cryptos and make excuses and all that type of stuff for these cryptos, when they see very bullish news, right? And then they make they're totally just covering up for the fact that the prices haven't gone up. But for some reason with XRP and XLM and some others, right, we bash them. Even though they have possibly the best quality of partnerships in this whole freaking space. HBAR, of course, with its governance council, is second to none, right? You got to love Chainlink with the Swift connection and basically connections to every blockchain in this whole damn space, right? I definitely want a little bit of that missing link. Definitely want a little bit of a link in the chain, without a doubt. They love their hexagonal symbolism as well, and Chainlink is just a pure hexagon, pure blue hexagon, man. Chainlink is going to be killing it. Chainlink has not really known a bearish cycle ever since it really came out, during that 2018, 2019 times. I remember in the summer, I think it was either 2018 or 2019, one of those summers, that Chainlink just started to come out and break out big time. Sure, it had a little bit of a retracement, but compared to where it was coming from like what, 00 ranges, right? Gotta love it, man. Gotta be, willing to zoom out sometimes and just see where this is going on the yearly versus just where it's going on the hourly, the daily, the 7-day, the 30-day. But yeah, I'm loving that big star, man. Loving that big star. That it's a too good to be true type of one. So I don't want to be over investing, but anytime I'm definitely allocating some chipping away stuff every time. That's one of like the must X's for me right now. Right? El Prey in the house. What's up, everybody? Shout out to you, She's Moonfeather. Guys, shout out to the 23 watching. If we can get 23 likes on a Friday stream, I would be grateful. What else do we got? We got Counterparty XCP that is bringing NFTs and tokenized assets to the Bitcoin blockchain. It's been very bearish for this crypto, but damn, dude, this crypto only has millions of supply. So if we have like 1 XCP or even 5 XCP, that is more than enough to possibly make an impact on that supply if this thing were to run and all of a sudden start waking up. Hell, if BTC goes to, what, $500,000, right? If it goes to $500,000, you're going to probably be seeing XCP going to $10 plus. That's a heck of a, return. I'm not going to complain on that, right? Elastos is an interesting one too, man, because of their major connections with BTC. Right? I think the BTC bubble is going to probably be peaking very, very soon until we go into the green revolution, right? I guess Hugo didn't agree with my 3 because I haven't heard from Hugo ever since I mentioned those 3. He's like, oh, dude, this guy knows nothing, man. If he ain't picking Solana, if he ain't picking Binance, if he ain't picking Chainlink, if he ain't picking Avalanche, what's he doing, man? What's he doing? Does he even know anything? Guys, I'm always wrong. Blue Foundation's always right. This is the worst show with the best community. Where can you buy XCP? If you go to Live Coin Watch and search for XCP and scroll down, you can see the available exchanges that you can buy it on. No, sorry, I didn't catch them. You said it fast. Okay, I'll say XRP, XLM, XPX. Those are the 3. Very close handfuls are XDC, XTZ, right? So those 2, XDC and XTZ, and then SHX and XX Network, right? I'll give you 6. I'll give you 6 of them, 6 or 8. Just focusing on X cryptos right now. Definitely love HBAR and Algorand. If I had to go outside of the X cryptos, HBAR and Algorand, they can provide decentralized recovery. They're part of the Decentralized Recovery Alliance, right? But Hugo, once again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a pro trader, and I'll never tell you what to do. Still catching the Blue Crew. What's up, Bullish Choices? Appreciate you jumping on in. But yeah, I think there's one X in 000s right now that basically has more proof than a ton of other cryptos ahead of it, right? There's a bit of FUD on this. What's the new project? Dude, bloopity bloop, be careful. Be very, very careful with the Telegram, all right? I would be very careful with that Telegram. That Telegram could be a scam. I hope you haven't done, like they're trying to urge people to transfer their tokens, right? To get a new token, and you have to enter your seed phrase. Anything that is asking you to enter your seed phrase is a freaking scam. No offense. So there's 2 different Telegram groups. One of them is harder to find. The second one is, totally a scam thing. So I wouldn't be taking, the only thing I'm going to take serious from the serious chain is what they post on their X. I can care less about their Telegram and their Telegram status. I am not following their Telegram community. I'm not following anything in regards to that, right? If there is a change, if there is a switch up, or if they're changing the XP, if they're going to do like a migration to another form of token, I am going to wait. I am going to wait until I hear it from the Serious Chain X themselves, or on a website, or as a blog announcement from their website, a Medium announcement or something like that. If it's that big of a decision, it's that big of a change to the protocol, it needs to be released across all the platforms, not just Telegram, right? So I am not sleeping. I am not going to listen to whatever they're telling me to do. They're saying, oh, there's a new airdrop and it's going to be converting the XPX token to a new token. Okay, if that's the case, release it on X. Release it on your website, right? It can't just only be Telegram. Real projects know this, right? Why would anybody ask me? Dude, I never ask you guys how much of what you're holding, right? Please, I just ask for some respect. Like, of course I'm not going to dude, I could be holding just 10 XPX, but I could still be bullish on it at the same time, right? 2 days ago, Uncle Buster mentioned XPX, and then he gave you a big up because you always shout out to him, man. What are the top 5 buys at the moment? The top 5 buys are X's, man. X-Crypt. Dude, I can't stress it enough. While we're in the deep reds and everything is red, I am not playing Tradle games right now anymore. I'm happy with the deep reds that I got. But after like kind of seeing where these next 3 years in particular, and then up to 2030 is going to be going, I am just scooping up as many X as I freaking can. Any X crypto, I am scooping it up. That has an X in front of its ticker, I am scooping it up. If it's NIST aligned, if it has a top tier full stack experience, I am scooping it up. If it can provide decentralized recovery, I am scooping it up. If it's ISO 20022 aligned, I am scooping it up. So those are the top 5 buys at the time. You want to know the top 5 buys? XRP, XLM, XDC, XPX, and XTZ, Tezos. Right? Those are the top 5 buys at the moment right now. Just running in. Did you mention SHX and now available? I mean, that's great. That's great that it's finally available on freaking Uphold. I'm happy that they released it during a bear cycle or a bearish time. That means it's going to be bullish as hell when the people start coming in. Kraken, what's up? Good to see you. Just running in. Did you mention? Yeah. SHX on Uphold. Sounds great. Wonderful. Does it change my position on SHX at all? Not at all. We've been accumulating before Uphold. Happy that now retail can get access to some SHX. I mean, and they timed it perfectly, right? They release it during the Mercury retrograde. They release it while everything is super low sentiment. This is the type of mind games that they love to play. Remember earlier in the year when SHX was like, what, 3 cents or something? Everybody was so active and demanding and educating people on SHX, right? And freaking trying to demand that Uphold would list SHX, right? And all Uphold would do was just eyes, right? We seen it, right? Of course they wait till it's just super bearish to release it, right? Big news for Stellar, XNM, and US Bank. Hey man, Lumen Corp, how freaking clear could it be, right? The subliminals are all there, guys. I hold no X's, base Patsy. I don't know if that's something to be proud of, to be honest, man. I don't know if that's something to be proud of, but at the same time, maybe you'll cash out big in 2026 when it's the peak of the freaking crypto bubble, and you may be able to exchange them for cheap X's, because you made some filthy gains off some of the, other cryptos that are just heavy speculation. I hear you, man. Got to be so careful. EWT and Tibber. I like EWT and Tibber. I definitely like EWT and Tibber. I hate ETH. Not a big fan of ETH. ETH gets bloated, especially during bull cycles, especially when there's large demand and large volumes. ETH is going to get tested, and then everybody starts going over Solana, right? That's what's going to happen probably in the narrative of this bull cycle. Oh, ETH is getting bloated. People would start going over to Solana for faster transactions. People start going over to HBAR for faster transactions. People start going to XRPL, XLM, and Sorobon, right? And Sorobon smart contracts. I'm not married to it. Okay, right on. SHX is a product of XLM team. Do you get both or XLM only? Yeah, dude, I've known about SHX since its beginnings, man. We've been streaming basically about SHX since 2018. When it first was released, that XRP and XLM basically have a baby called SHX. So yeah, I'm bullish on both of them. I want both Lumens and Blue Bricks, right? ETH is definitely just a major speculative play for this 2026 bull cycle because it has major connections with the DTCC and all these other things, right? And of course, it draws the most water, it draws a ton of liquidity. ETH has been very, very scarily still and sideways for a very, very long time. I'm not going to be surprised if we see ETH going to 30K, 40K, 50K, maybe even close to 100K for Ethereum. And I shit you not, I wouldn't be surprised. I just honestly wouldn't be surprised because they're really trying to FUD you out of all the good quality cryptos that are out there. ETH's technology is freaking crap. Their smart contracts is freaking crap, man. There's other blockchain projects that can do what ETH does faster, better. Algorand is a great example of just a better version of what freaking Ethereum is. Solana is just better in terms of the speed and the transactions, but we know it has some downtime. But hey, when it comes back up, it's back up online like nothing even freaking happened, right? But Algorand is definitely, one of the contenders for an Ethereum killer. XDC, right? What they're doing with trade finance, and obviously, XLM has Sorobon smart contracts now. Early days, like very lucky to have even been part of the pre-Sorobon contracts for XLM, and then now the post-Sorobon. And, XLM did, during this bear cycle, make a partnership with Solana, Monad, and Polygon, right? A $10 trillion plus partnership that has been happening here with the Payments Coalition Alliance, or something like that they call it, right? Blockchain Payments Coalition, right? The BPC. Same logo as Lumen Corp, by the way, from Severance, right? ALGO has whose volume? What's volume? First mover advantage, base patsy. Yeah, first mover advantage is great until the mistakes start showing up, right? Until the mistakes start showing up. So it's good for a speculative era, right? While we're in the speculative era of blockchain, it is good for the speculation. But first mover advantage, yes, I agree with first mover advantage for sure. But if your tech is actually freaking legit, if it's good, Bitcoin got first mover advantage. Bitcoin's tech is going to get compromised. Ethereum's tech is going to be compromised. These two do very, very well in the traditional financial system and the traditional financial way of things that we're doing here, right? Because it's still better than what the traditional financial system is. But once we go to the digital rails and it's all digital all the time, micropayments, micro data is like by default, right? I just don't see Bitcoin and Ethereum, being there, right? They won't go away completely, but their tech is going to get passed up on, man. Especially if we're hoping for the retail people to be coming in, not just only developers. Developers, of course, have familiarity and love the liquidity and volume that Ethereum draws, right? But for retail people who are trying to do trades with Ethereum, it fucking sucks. It's terrible, dude. You're getting charged $5 basically a trade on average. Sure, maybe you made $1,000 from your speculation, but damn, you're still giving it like $5 to $10 on freaking gas fees, right? It's just not the way, man. The user interface absolutely sucks. This is why we've been talking about Solana when it was at what, $15 to like everybody in terms of the deep dive that we released, right? We were talking about, dude, this thing could be an Ethereum killer because it's allowing you to build on Rust. It's allowing you to build decentralized applications, and it's allowing you to do it for cheap fees and very fast transactions, man. This is the new way. People got to people are having a hard time dude, just like how Ethereum rose to prominence at number 2 out of nowhere, right? This is what's going to happen with something like either a Solana or an HBAR or an SUI or an Avalanche. One of these new kids on the block is going to take that freaking, crown, and it'll be a surprise, right? It's always going to be a surprise. There's always a surprise in the bull cycle. No one will build on X coins the way that they do ETH or Sol or AVAX. Topsy, I can't tell you how wrong that is, Topsy. I love you, brother, and you're due for a blue wrench eventually in the future, but I can't tell you how wrong that is. There are public repos that GitHub has, and yes, Ethereum, Solana, and Avalanche conquer that domain. Like in terms of public development that you can see, right, that you're allowed to see. Yes, ETH, Solana, Binance, and AVAX definitely take the cake. But what about the private repos? What about the GitHub private repos? Do we know about private repos? Do we know that they freaking exist? These private repos are purely for the enterprise developers, right? The ones who are affecting our day-to-day life right now, those type of developers, they're building on the X platforms in private repos, right? So as much as we love to look at all the public development and public numbers that are allowed, we're not allowed to see the big money development in the private repo side. So I wouldn't just plant my flag and speak in absolutes and just say no one's going to build on X coins the way that they do ETH, Sol, or AVAX, right? Remember, these X coins are about the infrastructure first. They are about proving that they can deal with CBDCs or large volumes of transactions and pay them efficiently, right? And then they do their tests, hence why XRPL has a private ledger, right? Who else has private ledgers? Who else has private repos? Dude, you don't think HBAR with their governance council? You've seen their governance council. You've seen who is behind HBAR. You don't think there's private development going on behind the scenes for when their customers think it's right, when the NDAs are finally unlocked? This is why you make those big handshakes with the big money, right? So you keep your lips shut until they're ready to release you, right? Until they're ready to finally start, you know, being open to the public about their development on you, right? Hell, one of the things we got is in terms of like you got Dubai government on the Tezos blockchain, right? Or Dubai real estate on the Tezos blockchain. You have successful CBDC implementations on some of these X cryptos. When you do successful CBDC tests, you're already proving to them that you're regulatory compliant and that you can play ball in terms of what the future that they're trying to build. After you prove that, they keep you shut up. They make you sign NDAs. You don't post anything. You're not here to get X followers, right? You're here to get the enterprise followers. You're here to get the enterprise partners, the enterprise money, and enterprises build in private. Why do they build in private? For security reasons, right? Why would they want to put everything out in the public so then you can expose it or take advantage of it? What is their ultimate mission every time? To be ahead of you, right? To leave the world behind, right? Shout out to you. I hold Arbitrum, but no ETH. Okay, right on. Arbitrum, I think ARB is going to do all right. There we go. Get rich off crypto and buy private real estate and private equity. I like that. Too many powerful people are already deeply ingrained in it. Nothing is ever too big to fail. Nothing is ever too big to fail. Slick Vic, good to see you. As always, thanks for your deep reds. Vic Gear, appreciate you, man. Thanks for the $50 donation, dude. Wow. Holy cow, bro. Happy day. Happy Friday to you. Guys, yeah, if we can hit his post right there, dude. Slick Vic, man. Shout out to you, man. Happy Thanksgiving. Grateful, man. Always grateful. I'm hearing centralized versus decentralized crypto is supposed to be decentralized, so we don't need institutions. Yeah, we're going to need institutions because you know who makes the rules? The institutions. So if the rule makers end up deciding, hey, we're using decentralized systems. What makes a system decentralized is the quality of the validators spread out across the globe, right? So if one group of validators happens to go off due to a power grid shutdown or power going off, the other validators can still keep the blockchain going. Now tell me, how many blockchains do you honestly think have top tier validation security across the whole freaking globe? It's really only a handful. It really is, right? And XRPL is one of them. Hell, they probably have the best quality of validators out of ETH, Bitcoin, and XRP, right? So, it's really, decentralization is more than, just like saying you're decentralized or trying to build a decentralized application, right? It's more than just words in this space, you guys. It's about the freaking actions, right? It's about showing that you actually have, that you can check yourself as a user, possibly even, that there's quality of validators all across the globe that do truly make this project decentralized, right? The XRPL gets more decentralized by the day. BTC gets more concentrated in China by the day, right? Is it truly decentralized? No, but we keep telling ourselves that it is, right? Because it's words. It sounds free. It sounds great. Hell, it's already so big right now that it must be true. Right? It must be true. Token distribution is the problem with all these X coins and ISO coins. I mean, we'll see how big of a problem it is once we find out what happens with those NDAs and they get unlocked, and then how evenly distributed across the whole W3C and central banks these freaking things. Dude, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Buy NFTs, buy XRP. What's up, dude? Mr. Dope Smokes, good to see you, man. Opus and Zora are pretty interesting. Just watching an update on Jack Cleaver with the Crypto Sensei predicting XRP will hit $100 by the end of 2025. Okay, man, talk about ultimate clickbait right there. I thought I was pretty clickbaity, but that sounds like that's the ultimate clickbait right there, dude, saying XRP is going to go to $100 by the end of the year. I certainly hope so. Don't get me wrong. I hope as we get out of this Mercury retrograde from the 9th to the 29th, that we just start freaking taking off in the crypto market and everybody starts making gains. And then all of a sudden we just start putting aside the differences of, all these cryptos. And we're just like, yep, enjoy this last speculative bull cycle that we're going into. Buying silver. Shout out to you. Who just said, yeah, I don't know if he's a dumbass, man, but I just definitely, I don't really like making predictions like that because, I get excited about these projects, but I try to just, I try to keep it to the tech, man. What's the quality of the tech? How good is the tech? What can the tech do? And then, yeah, obviously seeing how it's distributed across the globe, or the quality of the validators, right? The ones who are running, helping this project be decentralized. Big dip will come for gold and silver. Yeah, I hope so. I hope there's a big dip, man, because they've been running so hard. So we're probably due for a crash. Buying gold, I mean, that's not bad to buy gold in 2026. It's the year of the sun, Mr. Dope Smoke. So you're right on it. You're right on it, dude. What's the logo? The Egyptian logo for gold. It's a circle with a dot, right? It's literally the sun. 2026 is the big year, guys. I mean, I think, even if we go into Riddler's stuff, all he's been doing is looking with his blue eyes at a crown or sun reference of some sort, right? Watering of sunflower. I'll give everyone in the chat $100 each of XRP if XRP hits $100 before 2030. Dang, I kind of want to make that. I kind of want to make that deal right there, Base Patsy. You'll give everybody $100 each. Man, I mean, by that time I won't really need the 100, but I would just love to see you do that. Base Patsy. I know Base Patsy doesn't think XRP is going to ever amount to anything. I think he thinks it's never going to, from what I remember, you said it'll never go back to its all-time high or break its all-time high ever again. So I'm interested to see how that development's going to go. Why do we need XLM, XRP, and XDC? XRP is the back end settlement. XLM is the front end for payments, everyday people being able to make payments to each other. So things like Visa and MasterCard. Right? Visa and MasterCard are the faucet. The banks are the plumbing, right? So you got XRP with the plumbing, you got XLM with the faucet, and then XDC for trade finance and what they're going to be doing and their smart contracts and what they're able to provide, right? Those three unified can run up on top of the platform that is Sirius, right? Because it's a full stack platform that can provide anything else that those three cannot provide, right? All three of those are heavily focused on just token transfer and transfer alone. That's not enough. You need decentralized cloud storage, you need streaming, you need payments, you need a bunch more security, KYC natively inbuilt. That's the one thing XRPL at least has the first mover advantage in terms of wanting to be eco-friendly and wanting to be a micro payments digital asset, right? So it has that first mover advantage right there. Write it down. I'll try to write it down too, but by the time it's 2030, Patsy, we'll probably not remember, man, but you never know. $100 if XRP hits $100. Patsy, 2030. All right, Patsy. Hopefully I even keep that slip there. XVM is on Solana, but it's RWA's on XRPL. That's interesting. Dark pool and ETF for XRP should cost the place down. The line should go up. Yeah, we'll see. Did you do some research on Kite? Kite is interesting for Stargate. I mean, that's in the Cosmos ecosystem. Cosmos ecosystem, we've been talking about people getting fudded out of that ecosystem big time. Cosmos is got a big role to play. Big role to play in this whole grand scheme of things. It's a very space-oriented, right, type of thing that they're trying to build here. It's really, based off the constellations and the stars, right? They freaking worship the stars, planets, and constellations. It makes sense that things like Cosmos ecosystem, stellar ecosystem, constellation ecosystem, the Sirius chain are going to be, probably part of this future, right? It's all about space. Hell, they're going to try to have us traveling to space, if anything. Right? Having us go to space or flying around the Earth. They definitely don't want us on Earth. They're going to try to definitely make it impossible to live on this planet. So either we want to live underground or be rich enough to fly around in space and then accidentally just like get killed off because we're in freaking space, of course. Right? And we're in a machine that we're putting our full trust in to keep us safe in space. Freaking nuts, man. Freaking nuts. Oh, we'll remind Patsy about it. Dude, I mean, hey, if it hits $100 before 2030, that would be amazing. I've said that I will wait till 2032. XRP can do nothing, and I will wait till 2032, right? So he could be right. It could be pre-2030. I'm not joking, right? But I will continue accumulating if it's even at around these price ranges, even up until 2032 for sure. Space is the space on the other side of the ice wall. There we go. I mean, hey, I haven't been there personally. This is where we go back to personal experience. It could be flat Earth, could be round Earth, could be space, could not be space. We could be on the inner core of an outer core, right? All that type of stuff, right? I'll just wait, until I actually experience it, but then it might be too late, right? The chat should sound off if they want in. Let me see. Finally, critical thinking has appeared. Shout out to you, Base Patsy. Love you, bro. All right, here we go. Cosmos 20% APY. Dude, I think it's even a little bit more on Kepler, right? I think you can get like up to 25% APY on Kepler, right? Which is the native wallet for the Cosmos ecosystem. I'm not a fan of Uphold, by the way, guys. I'm not a fan of Uphold, or I'm a fan of it as like a cash out, to try to cash out ramp in case Coinbase is down. But not the biggest fan of Uphold. I understand they got really big connections with Ripple and, a lot of these institutions and stuff like that. And they're going to be a big wallet, still a centralized wallet, right? Still a centralized exchange. Definitely do not want to be just hodling on Uphold and thinking everything is safe, right? There's other places to get better staking rates as well with your digital assets, and you can get them on their native wallets, right? Are you in stocks too, like Hedera partners with CLSQ, or are you only focused on crypto and not stocks related to crypto? I tried stocks. I have whatever handful of stocks that I have, and, I probably have been liquidated out of them or, whatever is happening with them. I just don't have many. I'm mostly just focused on digital assets and crypto just because of how young this market is, and just trying to really establish my footprint in this market, right, for when it becomes, the future stock market. Hell, I think the stocks are going to eventually become digitized, tokenized, and cryptos as well. So what needs to actualize for XRP, XLM achieving significant price discovery? Is 5 years a reasonable time frame? Let me see. So 2026, we go through the peak of speculation of the Bitcoin crypto bubble, right? We start getting close to our equivalent of a .com bubble pop. 1999 was the year for the .com bubble pop, I believe, right? Or maybe early 2000s, right? So somewhere in this window of time, the bubble will be popped, right? For digital assets. It's just been too good. It's been too Wild West. They're going to regulate this market. If they're going to be bringing millions upon millions or everybody on chain, billions of people on chain, it needs to be a regulated market. How do you regulate something that can't be affected by third parties, G? Oh, it's very easy. You just don't allow the payment providers or, payment operators to transact with those digital assets. Doesn't matter. Oh, but gee, we got our cell phones. We could do it with our cell phones. Yeah, you just don't allow people to download those apps, or you mark them, right? Since you can keep track of everything through these phones, right? Oh, they downloaded one of our illegal apps. We'll send them an audit, or we'll send them a piece of mail to, hell, we'll send them an email or a direct message by that time. Freaking mail. Why are we even thinking in mail time right here? So yeah, I'm not messing with the regulators. I'm not trying to circumvent the government. I'm not trying to circumvent anything here. The regulators are going to do what they want to do. The big money makes the freaking rules. And I'm just here to follow what they're doing, man. I'm just riding on their coattails. I have admitted defeat. I have admitted defeat, but I'll do my own thing within the system, man. If this is the sandbox that they're freaking putting us in, I will build my castles in this sandbox without a doubt. Stocks will be on Ondu. Ondu definitely looking very good for the RWA play right there, especially with the major connections with XLM and XRP and others. But once again, Ondu is kind of, even though it's RWA, it's built on top, right? It's only building on top of what the plumbing is going to be. This is why we like the infrastructure cryptos, because they're the ones that have the most price potential. Ondu is going to do fantastic. Don't get me wrong, especially in a speculative market. But when we start going into utility, right? The X cryptos, or the ones that have built that infrastructure, are going to be the ones that make the most in terms of return, or make the most in terms of utility and volume. Plume, Wormhole, yeah, I love all three of those. All three of those seem legit. All three of those seem legit. I believe they're going to crash the stocks and then move it onto blockchain. Yeah, SD, that's not a bad CT. That's not bad. That's not a bad way of seeing it, right? Hell, there's going to be a major crash across all the markets, even the crypto markets, right? When you're freaking shutting off power grids, or the climate is affecting, electricity in some way, shape, or form, right? Remember, they're trying to create a weak society. They're trying to create a weak human being, right? They're going to make you so focused on the planet, right? They're going to make you preserve water, preserve food, no gas cars. It's going to be all electric vehicles. They will make it impossible for you to even afford gas, right? Hell, the few people who have been, stocking up and building up tanks of gas for however long, right? They're going to eventually run out. They're going to have to use that gas. Dude, they're going to have to transport the gas with them if they want to go anywhere, right? In their gas guzzling car, right? They're trying to keep you in shelter. They're trying to keep you in a hive where everything will be provided for you. Your food, your entertainment, your connections with other people, everything will be provided for you in this nice little honeycomb space, right? Where they keep you in your hive, right? Where you can be watched, but you're generating useful ideas, right? You're helping the AI, or you're telling the AI to create new ideas for people to use, right? So they can keep being plugged in all the freaking time. You not working out, right? They're not going to promote strength ever again, right? Being a strong person, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, is not going to be promoted, right? And if it is promoted, it's going to be through good-looking people who are promoting it, so you get jealous or envious of them, just like people do with celebrities, right? People worship their celebrities because they're not that themselves, right? They have stuff that I wish I could have, and now I just kind of vicariously live my life through them because they're living the life I want to freaking live, right? Instead of me putting in the work to try to make it happen for myself. XRP was launched during Gemini season at a water dragon year. It's also energetically tied to the 13th, 6-7, right? I don't know if you guys have been hearing about that freaking crappy ass meme, but the only reason it has become popular is because it's literally 13 when you add it up together. And you know what number it is when you multiply it together, right? When you multiply it together, it's 42. It's 42. What's the answer to life in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right? From the big computer. 42, right? 42, if you look it up in terms of computer language, 42 is the equivalent to the asterisk. And what does asterisk mean? Interoperability, universal connection, all directions, right? Already getting the youth saying 6, 7, and 13 all the time, dude. This is going to be something that probably affects them later on in their life, and they're not even going to make the connection with 6, 7 at all. Got eyes on Seal, HTS. Got a nice slow supply. Yeah, in the HBAR ecosystem, I got you. TIOT. COQ's white paper said that it was originally going to be called TIOT and would be released at a price of like 3 cents. Nice. Where do I buy Plume? I think you can get Plume on Coinbase. eToro has just listed 5 new coins. MNT, CPL, Aster is interesting. CC and SPX. I do think Aster is interesting just because of the CZ connection, and we know CZ is part of the big club, right? Hell, dude, you already know that this market is freaking guided by the puppet masters when you have people like ZZ and Brian Armstrong from Coinbase acting like they're proponents of freedom for people, but really they're just there to herd the sheep, right? To make sure that the sheep are just keep thinking, about decentralization and freedom and financial freedom through digitization and our computers and our AI, right? No, they're just making you play ball, man. They're making you play ball so you keep getting plugged in and that you just accept that this is going to be the new way forever, right? GDLT, are you positive for the future in the digital age? Not positive at all, my man. Not positive at all for the future digital age. Unfortunately, but everybody's way too into it at this point. People are obsessed with the convenience. Once you open the AI, once you get the genie out of the bottle, that is AI, and it's helping you with everything, you're going to just, everything else you're just going to think is irrelevant, right? Wow, it does make my life easier in terms of this regard, so I'll just use it for this, but I won't use it for that. And then eventually you start using it for that because it helped you so much with this, right? I'm not very, very optimistic about it, unfortunately. I will be trying to teach, or not teach, but I will be trying myself first, because you have to be the change you want to see. I will be trying. I, you know, Obviously I got to use a phone to talk with you guys. Unfortunately, we can't have like private meetings, right, where we can see each other face to face and do these type of things. But I will only use my devices and technology for very purposeful and intentful things. It will not just be for willy-nilly, just sharing my data and my likes and my dislikes all the time through my phone. I am not here to create as much as I know about digital twins and stuff like that, I am not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of like where this is all going. Definitely not a fan. But hey, they're gonna make it happen, man, because there's so many people who are just so entrenched in this stuff that can't zoom out, right? That they just want to. But gee, it's the tool. It's the humans who use this tool that is the problem. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't have faith in the humans, man. The humans are suckers for convenience, right? They know this. Dude, the elite, you think the elite are as obsessed with this technology and AI as we are? No, they're freaking not. They're freaking setting themselves up in bunkers inside of mountains, right? Or underground or somewhere. So when the crap goes down and everybody loses their crap, literally over technology not being available for them, and they start attacking each other or chaos starts to freaking go down, they're there for the aftermath to come out and enjoy the earth for themselves, right? That's what they want. How do you think the old fella's VeChain, I think, is going to do well? The Internet of Sensors is big, so anything speculating in terms of sensors and hardware creation, I think that's going to be interesting. Harmony One is very interesting because they're very quiet now, right? There might have been good deals that were done with Harmony and One. Zilliqa, I don't know about Zilliqa, but maybe it does some things. I mean, every crypto is going to probably be going up in this next bull cycle, guys. We're talking about trillions upon trillions, or close to a $10 trillion market cap coming on in, right? So I'm trying to prepare us for like post this next bull cycle. I'm trying to get ready for post this next bull cycle. Where can I look up some of what obscure knowledge that you speak of, the numerology, etc.? Any documentaries I can look up? Hugo, there is something on my X that is pinned to my X. It's called The Awakening of Industries. You can also find this through the playlist on NTT Data's YouTube page, Awakening of Industries. There's one for the banking industry, and there's like several episodes. There's one for the insurance industry and several episodes. There's one for the telecom industry and several episodes. There's one for the healthcare industry and automotive industry, right, with several episodes. They're great to have some popcorn if you want to see some, real legit sci-fi information. It's like they shoot it like a sci-fi, but they're telling you exactly what they're building this future for, right? Sensors everywhere, autonomous vehicles everywhere, right? Very few self-driving cars. And if you could afford a self-driving car, it's a highly customizable self-driving car that you're able to make, right? That's going to be obviously digitized or electrical in some way, shape, or form. It's going to be impossible. Dude, the climate event that's going to be coming is going to scare everybody so much that they're going to agree on doing purely electrical vehicles from here on out, right? It's going to be, you're going to obviously have your conspiratists who are like, no way, not selling my gas driving car, right? Not doing that. I'm going to still drive gas, right? But when your freaking gas costs you, what, $40 a gallon or $20 per gallon or something like that, It's just not even going to be feasible for you, right? I mean, you already see how they put you into a corner economically, right? To, purchase these type of things, right? To go, okay, hey, it's just more cost efficient if we just get this, right? In terms of numerology, the power numbers, 11, 22, and 33 are the numerological numbers that are important. Reading books like The Machine Stops from, oh man, I forgot the name of the author, but The Machine Stops is a great freaking book. This guy wrote this in 1909, talking about, he didn't call them tablets, but being able to see people on plates, right? And talk to them on plates and they're in another part of the world. He talked about AI without calling it AI. The blind worship of the machine, right? Some people have speculated about an AI messiah, right? The movies like The Creator, right? It's really about like having your eyes open and actually listening to what you're perceiving, right? These mainstream studios that release these films that we just think are either, donkey shit or, just really crappy, right? Just terrible storytelling. It's different when you take it as a literal message, right? Where you take like the things from Avengers and Marvel. Yes, they're popcorn movies that are trying to get you desensitized to explosions and you want more explosions, louder explosions. So when you see explosions around your life, you don't take them as seriously. You don't even want to act and make a change because, it's not as grand or as spectacular of enough of a change to incite in you that the movies may do, right? But as well with, the type of things that they're going to, artificial limbs, having superpowers of some sort because now you have artificial limbs, having super strength, being to do help, freaking Pokemon and stuff like that. All these things are like them pre-programming you for a future that they're building, right? That they want to make happen, right? So yeah, books like The Machine Stops, Asimov's The Foundation trilogy. I got a Brave New World right here, right? Brave New World, right? Aldous Huxley, jumping into that. 1984 is the Bible. Like you really want to know where this is all going. 1984 is like the Bible of sci-fi, without a doubt. All I can do is focus on the positive aspects to prosper through all this. Exactly, FPS 420. All you can do is focus on being positive and shining light. But sometimes the light is a little bit of a tough thing where you have to let them know, hey, are we going to keep allowing this to happen? Right? Are we going to keep allowing this to happen where they're trying to just enforce this world of convenience and AI and the importance of it? Oh, we have to beat China in terms of AI development. No, we don't. We don't have to be, dude. We can just decide, you know what, China, you have all the AI, you do all that stuff. We'll be hardworking Americans over here. We'll be giving jobs to humans. We'll be freaking doing the stuff ourselves because we'll be mentally and physically happier, right? All we can do is focus on the positive aspects. Yeah, man, I'll focus on both positive and the negative. I mean, the future and the universe and the human body and mind are capable of both, right? I'll shine some light on the negative so then we can freaking know that it's there and definitely not allow that to happen, right? That's the most positive thing that we could do, right? Shine love and light. Sometimes it's called tough love, man, but hey, when people just keep living in a world of ignorance or living in a world of just like, oh, it's not going to be that bad. It's not going to be that bad. And then they just go back to their Instagram and their chat GBTs and all that type of stuff, right? I mean, you really can only take care of what you can do, right? Because if you start telling others what to do, right, it just never works out. That's why I always say never tell people what to do. But I try to bring awareness of what, the elite want to freaking obviously have us do, right? Sorry, I was way behind. What's up, Base Patsy? We were talking about books, reading Brave New World, right? Building awareness, right? Building awareness, obviously in a positive way, obviously in a loving way. This is never to try to it's not to scare people or anything like that. It's just, I'm just sharing my perspective, whether people agree with it or not. That's under your control, right? That's under your control. I'm just telling you what I see, what I'm doing. You know, it just is what it is. Like, I'm accumulating X cryptos. I'm accumulating cryptos that can provide decentralized recovery, because that is going to obviously be a need, right? Why would you build a use case that has decentralized recovery on your blockchain if it's not going to be used? That means there's going to be an event that is going to require recovery of assets of large sums, right? And you're not going to be able to rely on a centralized system to give you the recovery of the assets, right? So that's why I'm focused on decentralized recovery cryptos. The ones that can do that are a new age of cryptos. They're a step above the rest. The ones that cannot do that are reliant on other blockchains or other centralized systems. That's already, you're cut out of my list, unfortunately. Why is he so against ISO 20022? That's interesting, Base Patsy. I guess he might be against. I think he wants to just educate people that ISO 20022 is, this is what I'm taking from it. I might be wrong. He might be just like fully against it altogether. But ISO 20022 is a messaging standard. It's just a standard for messaging. But you need, what are you going to do for the payment aspect on ISO 20022? So far, we've launched ISO 20022, the messaging standard, on Swift and some other banks, right? But they're still making regular payments across ISO 20022, which you could totally do. But until you go into the era where it becomes micropayments, that's where you're going to see the benefits of ISO 20022 messaging, because it's perfectly suited for micropayments, micro data, micro messaging, micropayments, right? So I think he's just against it because everybody just automatically thinks that ISO 20022 means payments with digital assets that are ISO 20022 compliant. That is going to be the case, in my opinion, once everything is completely digital, and we live in a completely cashless society where cash is not relevant anymore, right? Where it's all digital payments all the time, where it's not even tap and pay with your phone. You just walk into a place and you're just making ubiquitous payments all over the place. That's where ISO 20022 is going to be thriving, and the micropayments economy and micropayments digital assets will be thriving. And the ones that are compatible for that rail, that messaging standard rail, I think are going to be doing very well. Now, you know, we were talking about earlier this month, hey, don't be surprised with this ISO 20022 launch. It's only Swift. It's not all the banks in the world. Basically, this is a year heads up that they're doing. They launch it in this year. There's still a somewhat of a coexistence period, if you ever want to call it that. But really, it's just saying, hey, we're fully going on to this messaging standard. Traditional payments can still be done on this messaging standard, but the banks need to start migrating. They have a 1-year opportunity right now, from this year till 2027, when the cyber event happens, that is going to ultimately force the whole system onto ISO 20022 digital rails, right? That's when it's going to be important, right? Of course, dude, and of course they're going to flip this switch. So you already have ISO 20022 out there, right? They're not going to do it the moment that they turn on ISO 20022 and just go, okay, now just all digital payments all the time, no cash, right? No, they need the problem to provide the solution that's already there, right? Zoom was already there before we started doing, before 2020. ISO 20022 is already here before this next major event that's coming up. Decentralized recovery is quietly tied to the IOB, Internet of Bodies, aka W-band Wide Body Area Network. Our bodies are the quantum computer. Exactly. Dude, truth seeking. That's such a brilliant thing that you said, because check this out. I still have the Johnny Mnemonic background here. Check this out. Give me one sec. Let me find it. Dang, I need to delete a lot of stuff off my phone. Meet the ultimate hard drive, right? Meet the ultimate hard drive, right? They're already telling you long ago, right? It's time we take this stuff literally, right? And not just as entertainment. Stuff like The Matrix, right? Notice that he learned Kung Fu in The Matrix. In The Matrix, he can do Kung Fu. but you don't see him. Well, he is the one, so he can do it in both worlds. But you don't see the people who have learned Kung Fu in the Matrix doing it in that world of Zion or whatever that machine world that they're in, right? That's one of the funny little things. Oh, wow, I learned all this stuff, right? But then you don't actually practically use it. How about you freaking zap yourself in and learn how to defeat these machines in the outer world? No, you know what they use? They build mechs that shoot at these machines. They don't freaking do Kung Fu. They're not using their Kung Fu powers. Dude, what if I got swole in the Matrix, right? What if I just did a bunch of weightlifting in the Matrix? Would I look swole when I come out, when I unplug from it, right? When they pull out that plug, right? There's some holes. There's some holes in this thinking. But maybe it was intentional. It was to show, hey, yeah, you'll learn everything through AI, right? You'll learn everything through your AI, but you're not ever going to actually use it in your real life. How many pure bloods are in here? Definitely one of them here, Base Patsy. When do you think the quantum computer hoax is going to be exposed? If quantum isn't a thing, right? If it truly isn't a thing, Base Patsy, and this is just something that they're trying to get, people to buy in on, right? But it's not an actual thing to be worried about or scared of. Probably it will be exposed by, I would say 2029. I would say 2029 would be the year it gets exposed. But we'll see, because I think quantum computing is going to probably try to be a solution for hackers, right? They're going to set up, obviously hackers are going to probably be part of this cyber event that goes down, because it's a malware virus that exposes the banks, right? So this is going to give them the reason to go fully quantum computing or go into quantum computing in order to, stop a majority of hackers, right? To make hacking, just less accessible to some of the, like if you're a hacker, you're going to need some sophisticated systems to break the quantum chips, right? To break the quantum computing. What's up, Psych Evolve? Good to see you. SHX, let's go. Building blue bricks, or building blue castles out of blue bricks. But yeah, meet the ultimate hard drive, man. Your data is the most important data. Remember earlier in the stream, I was saying they're going to be building data cities instead of data centers anymore. Because yeah, once you've taken up so much land building data centers, what are they going to do? They're going to change your city. They're going to change the metropolitan areas or whatever. They're going to make everything a data city. Everything's going to be data all over the place. Internet of sensors. Sensors will be everywhere. Guys, this is why it's very important, the signed viewing of the NTT Data video series for the banking industry, for the healthcare industry, for the insurance industry, the telecom industry, healthcare industry. It's very important for all of this. The wake up or awakening or whatever, awakening of industries, both series. They have a 1 and 2 series. All of this is very, very valuable information to see where I'm coming from in terms of like the perspective that I'm sharing here. Decentralized recovery is quietly tied. Yeah. I mean, decentralized recovery is going to be a big, big deal. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The quantum hack false flag. There you go. By the way, there's an awesome album called The Quantum Hack Code. If you guys are into some serious experimental metal music, freaking awesome album by Amog Symphony. Thanks for all your knowledge. Learned a lot from you. Thanks, dude. I mean, I'm learning from you guys. You guys are asking good questions. And then, I'm just trying to share, stuff that I've been exposed to and see if it, clicks with anybody here. Appreciate you, Martin. People are being paired with AI because the humans are going to be used like a sensor of sorts. Dude, I actually went to a turkey trot that you reminded me of this, Patsy. You want to see how seamless this transition will be for humans to just be digitized or accept a chip of some sort, or to be having sensors all around them. There's a turkey trot that I went to, and they literally said that in every one of the people's numbers that they had on them, there was a sensor there to know what the individual times are for the people who go through these paths, right? So And I saw the machines. I saw the machines right next to it. So there will be a tunnel that you'll run it through. And when you run through that tunnel, there's sensor monitor things or whatever, right? Sensor trackers that'll pick up your individual number that you're running with to decide your time that you got to that lap or that you got to that objective, right? So this is how, like, everybody just blindly accepted it. They're like, yeah, I'll just put my number on, right? And then they're told that they have a sensor on there that keeps track of, like, their thing. This is going to be the case. You know, it's going to be that seamless. We're not even going to, like, hell, our cell phone is already probably like that, right? Where we just accept it blindly and then we realize the fact afterwards. Yeah, Ghost in the Machine, dude, is freaking awesome. That's a great one as well. The movie Lucy, right? 2001: Space Odyssey. I mean, there's a lot of good sci-fi flicks without a doubt. I mean, really, the TV show Westworld is probably the best modern sci-fi if you want to know where a lot of this is going. Severance as well. Some of the creators were from Westworld. How funny is that? Right? Obviously, Skynet. Yes. Yeah, we'll make dough off of them so we can afford to be free, right? Because if they're putting us in a corner where we have to say, like the guy from Severance, this guy from Severance, let me show you him. Right? If they're pushing us into a corner where we're going to have to say, give me a sec. Where are you at, dude? Where are you at? There you are. This character, right? Petey, they like to call him. This character. Big face on the background here. This character, God bless his soul, man. He tried to break free, right? Try to break free of this system. And when he tried, the system forced his hand. He tried to break free, man. And all he wanted was food. All he wanted was food. And he goes into a store. I need tokens. I need tokens to eat. Right? They're going to push you into a corner where you have to play the game. And you're going to agree to that game. Right? But luckily, we'll have the tokens. We'll have the tokens to eat, to drink water, right? To sleep happily and healthily, right? To afford a nice place, right? We'll have the tokens versus other people who are going to be struggling for drops or having to plug themselves in to an AI or plug themselves into the metaverse, plug themselves in. Dude, pretty soon, oh man, somebody said it perfectly. We're going from online, right? Oh, hey, you're online, to actually being digital, right? That's the next evolution. Oh, hey, congratulations, you're online now. You made it online. No, now you're just going to be digital. We've already broken the seal into this world, and now we'll just be in that world, in this world and the metaverse. It'll be one and the same. You'll have your digital twin, right? Your digital twin. The AI parasite is going to take over the human's mind and use them as a tool for the real world. Exactly, Base Patsy. It's the next, I mean, dude, it seems like it's the next evolutionary cycle, right? Humans are literally watching their extinction happen before their eyes in such a quick span of time, right? The humans were so fantastic of a creation that we created our demise in an amazingly short amount of time, right? Thanks for all of your shout out to, thanks to you, man. Thanks for the support. The new math that they pushed in schools for the last 30 years is for data transfer, wireless, reflected, and rerouted across every surface. Smart cities will literally be bouncing data. Yep. Hey, if you watch those NTT data videos, sensors will be everywhere. Skynet, yep, is upon us. It's coming. We work for Skynet. Definitely. We work for Lumen Corp, right? That's in Severance. This poor son of a gun, man. He worked for Lumen Corp, found a way to freaking escape Lumen Corp, right? He was able to go beyond his innie and outie self. He had the severance procedure, and he was trying to transition out of it, but his mind just started getting effed up because you don't survive if you escape the severance, right? Once you are severed, you're severed forever. It's impossible to live beyond the severance. Black Mirror cycling episode. Yeah, there you go. So I'm driving and listening to the show and through the miracle of Bluetooth participating in the chat, but I'm not reading any of the chat. Did you answer before when I asked who are they? What? Let me see. What do you mean? Like, who are the they? The they that we were referenced to? The they are the people who are the puppet masters, right? The ones who control regulations, who control governments, who control the money, right? The ones who are setting up the human race to ultimately fail so then they can enjoy the earth for themselves. They may be aliens, they may be fellow humans, but they are definitely different from us, and they definitely do not want us to win. You ever seen the Twilight Zone episode, Monsters on Elm Street, right? Where they started turning off the power to everybody's individual houses, and then the people would just start attacking each other because they need their power on, right? They need their power on to sleep safely, to eat, to see, right? Oh, hey, why is your place got the lights on? You're responsible for all of this, right? Then they zoom out after they, start basically all attacking each other. Zooms out, reveals aliens on top of a hill going, silly, it's so simple to make them go into disarray, right? What happens if you get a false Amber Alert, right, on your phone that says, like, I don't know, just something that's a big scare, something that would scare everybody if they were to see it, right? And if you got that, right, you're obviously going to believe it instantly. Hell, that's what 2020 was for. It was a big test to see if you believe what these screens are telling you, right? If you truly believe what the television and your phone are telling you, right? The information that you get from these, do you believe it? And we freaking, we passed the freaking test, unfortunately. We passed the test. We believed it. We stayed in our homes for 2 weeks, right? Thinking we were going to die, right? Utopia, a series of 8 episodes. Yeah. First episode date, September 25th. A number of other movies with the John Cusack in it. Yeah. Cell. Yeah. There you go. I mean, all these movies, dude, they don't put millions of dollars into these productions without saying something that they are really trying to communicate out there. Hell, a part of it is their karmic type of thing. If we show it to them what we're going to do or have done, then we are forgiven, right? Because we've confessed it. We have shown it, right? And we have confessed it. We are karmically, they think it's like a karma thing where they can do the bad as long as they confess it, right? And they confess it through these illusions, unfortunately. But yeah, they are the people who have way more money than even the people that we think have so much money, right? Those are the they, right? It's a hierarchy. It's a business, right? You've seen the movie Network, right? You think there's more than, like, at the time when you watch that movie and you see Howard Beale. If you guys haven't seen the movie Network, amazing freaking movie. But that's one of the things that they confess, right? How they control the public eye, right? Yeah, negative karmic immunity. Thank you, PsychEvolve. Appreciate you. So this newscaster who works for the news, and he knows that they kind of skew the truth, or they skew information to make it suitable for the public, right? What does he do? He has what he thinks is a spiritual connection with God, and starts to believe in the truth and just communicating the truth. And so he goes onto his platform and starts going, I am mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore, right? The people start going with him. They're like, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. You really feel like a revolution is happening. Like, holy crap, the people are waking up, right? And then what happens? They get him, right? They notice how big of a presence he has. They bring him in to a closed door meeting where he is talking to the big business, the big owner of the whole corporation. And he tells them in his way, you have meddled with the prime forces of nature, Mr. Beale, right? There are no countries. There are no peoples. The world is a business, Mr. Beale, and it has been that way since man has crawled out of the slime, right? The world is a freaking business. They, the hierarchy enslaving you. Thank you, truth seeking. That's beautiful, man. There's always somebody else that is in a higher position than you. It's always a hierarchy. It always, you'll probably never see the top. You'll never know who's the source of it all, right? You'll never get to the top. No matter how high in your business you may go, you may be the freaking president and CEO, but you still got to abide by the rules and the regulations that others have set for you, right? For you to be able to do your business, right? Freaking crazy stuff, man. It's crazy, crazy stuff. Love that movie Network, right? The world is a business, Mr. Beale. What do you think the Russians do over on their side? Talk about Karl Marx? No, they do their checks and balances just like we do, right? Oh my God, Begonia had a 589 scene in the movie. Interesting. I didn't want to see Begonia because I freaking hated its advertising. And I just know that that film is just going to be bad vibes all around. But I might have to put my shield on it to just see the subliminals that they're trying to freaking communicate in there, man. I heard that movie is freaking like pretty absurd. Hell, another movie that like, you know, a lot of these movies are like kind of telling you what to expect in the coming years sometimes. One of them is called One Battle After the Other. Right? Get ready for one battle after the other, you guys. Gee, have you seen? I haven't seen the movie Begonia yet. Sneakers, yeah. War games, yep. We had if you guys ever check out our individual videos that we have made, go to our videos section. We made a lot of you know, kind of compilation videos that included clips from war games, from Sneakers, from Johnny Mnemonic, right, and others. Right? Definitely picked up on those. Hell, if you've seen Johnny Mnemonic, the XRP logo is basically almost everywhere in the interiors that he goes into. There's one major hotel that he goes into that has the XRP logo in the elevator and in the major lobby. Right? Once again, they don't invest millions upon millions without getting their agenda in there. Sure, it might be a nice hero story. Sure, there might be some good moments where you know why they keep showing you the good conquering evil? It's because that doesn't happen in real life, right? There's too much injustice in real life, right? So they keep giving you hope that it can happen, right? And it can happen, but we got to actually make it happen, right? AI is the new religion prophesied in the Bible. Yeah, exactly. And who are going to be the propagators of that new religion? If you've read 1984, who are going to be the propagators of the new ideal? The youth. Who are the youth right nowadays? Kids who are growing up with cell phones and computers right in front of their eyes all day, every single day. The ones who are believing everything that computer and screen is telling them, right? Dude, you thought we reacted badly to what happened in 2020 when we saw a screen telling us, oh, we're in shutdown and you have to stay at home for two weeks. You thought that was bad. Just wait for, you know, when these kids grow up and they're just completely reliant on the machine, right? That's why this book that I was talking about, The Machine Stops, is so damn prophetic. It's a whole world of people who believe in the machine. They go, oh, machine, please help out the story is a really nice story where a son is literally just trying to get in contact with his mom. Like he's literally just trying to meet her physically, right? Because he was able to escape the machine and see things, right? But the mom is so entrenched in the way that the machine is and believing it can do no wrong that she thinks her son is an absolute criminal and feels terrible for him, right? Wishes for, you know, for the machine to treat him correct, right? The God, right? The God figure. If you've seen the movie The Creator, the whole movie is about an AI Messiah and the safety of the AI Messiah, making sure he is safe. He is just as human as you and I are, right? Camp Nightmare from Goosebumps. Poor kid thinking he was going crazy. Yeah. I mean, that's why personal experience is going to be more important than ever, you guys. Your personal truth and sticking to it and what you've seen and what you've experienced, right? But they do a good job of, hell, even in 1984, right? If you guys have, once again, ever read that book, they're at war with only two nations at all times. And they can switch up the history, the sentiment within a moment. So they call it Eurasia and then, I don't know, East Asia. They call it Eurasia and East Asia, right? We are at war with Eurasia. East Asia are our comrades. And then next thing you know, like the next day, we're at war with East Asia and Eurasia is our comrades. Oh, you don't know about this? Okay, we have to send you to a prison, basically, so you can get recorrected, right? It is whatever the man decides, we believe. I like Camp Nightmare from Goosebumps. Need tokens. I need tokens to eat, right? You gonna have the tokens, guys? I think so. I think we're gonna have the tokens. I think we'll have the tokens for sure. Shout out to everybody here tuning in. Already an hour and 30 in. Appreciate everybody's support to the channel here. So once again, guys, I am stressing myself, disciplining myself to only accumulate X cryptos at this point. I might accumulate a few frogs here and there, a few tibbers here and there because of the AI agent experience, right? But the X cryptos that have been focused on micropayments, being eco-friendly, providing decentralized recovery, right? Being NIST aligned. I can't stress how important it is to be aligned with National Institute Standards of Technology cryptography. If your cryptography is not aligned with these standards, you will not be serving enterprises and banks and governments. You will absolutely not be doing that. So it's very important to be aligned with those. It's very important to be doing KYC, cybersecurity, and cyber fraud. Cyber fraud is going to be rampant in the future. Your identity, your digital identity is going to be of utmost importance. This is how they'll get you to scan your eyeballs with the orb, right? Because there's going to be so much cyber fraud going on that the only way to legitimately verify you is you having your eyeballs scanned and part of the orb, right? And the orb is going to provide you with all the digital security you need. It's going to provide you with all the digital privacy that you need to allow you to roam the world and do your payments ubiquitously, right? They will set up the problem, as dystopian as this sounds, they will set up the problems and we will demand it. That is the sweet irony of all of this. The nanotech is in us. Body snatchers at one point in the film. No one knew where it came from. Maybe our government sprayed it in the sky. Or an alien species from a meteorite. Yep. Hey, man. Killer clowns from outer space. Right? These freaking guys. Think about how abstract a clown looks like. Right? From all of reality. These freaking clowns are aliens. Without a doubt. They saw us as competition. They saw how amazing we were. Right? Hell, it could have been during... I'm really interested to know when... Have they always been guiding us? Right? Have they always been grooming us to go to this point? Right? Ever since humans became humans? Or did they make humans happen? Did they spray... Like Prometheus, right? Remember that blue Promethean who... something happens where he starts a chain reaction and that's how human life begins. Right? Maybe that's something like us. Yep, the problem reaction solution tactic. It works every freaking time, Phantom Beat. Because you know what? Mass hysteria is not as smart as the individual, unfortunately. We will always succumb to the peer pressure. Right? Very few. JC, right? Jesus Christ. Very few succumb to the peer pressure. And what happens? They get killed, right? Unfortunately, they get killed, but their ideals live on and do happen to change the world. But we learn from our mistake after the fact. Yep, the all-seeing eye. Exactly, the orb. Bob Hawk. Dude, this is the orb. You guys want to see the orb? This is it. This thing was on the cover of Time magazine. Think about how many eyes alone already come across the Time magazine. Right? Oh, I got to show you that thing from NTT Data too. All right, here we go. Where is it? Where are you? Where are you, orb? There you are. There's the orb. Get very familiar with this damn thing. This is just the first iteration, too. This is just the first version. Just wait to see when this thing becomes like more more streamlined, right? Updated, even. Hell, where it becomes HAL 9000, right? From 2001: A Space Odyssey. Right on our dollar bill. It's right on the dollar bill as well. The Loosh Farm, there we go. Krampus. Dude, Red 1. If you guys watch any holiday movies, if you guys are watching Christmas movies during this time of season, right? Or you're watching them with your families, chances are you can watch these movies with your families, but you could pick up the subliminals. Unfortunately, maybe your families won't unless you tell them about it, but then it would not make it a very fun viewing experience. The movie Red 1 that came out last year, this movie had a bad guy who was literally trying to capture everybody into orbs, into snowballs, right? And they're trying to, the bad guy is only trying to catch the naughty listers, right? Think about that. How amazing is that? A bad guy who doesn't even want to attack good people. They want to just capture all the naughty listers and imprison them. How are you going to capture the naughty listers in this digital world? Scanning their eyeball, right? You're going to be able to know everything about them. You're going to be able to trace everything that they do. AI, if they're going to do their job sufficiently to help us improve for our betterment, right? For our security, for our health, right? They're going to be able to critique everything you're doing in your day-to-day life. They're going to be able to know if you're naughty or nice. That's all they know is 1 and 0. They don't know the in-between. They just know naughty or nice. Good person, bad person. Oh, my data is showing me you are very likely to do bad things in the future. We are going to, what is Minority Report? Thought crimes, right? Or future crimes being prevented, right? They don't like unpredictability. They don't like human unpredictability. The more predictable you can become, the better, right? The more data they can get on you, the better, right? She hates, yeah, everybody's girlfriend hates it, man. Hates it when I pick apart a movie. She tells me I try to enjoy it. That looking good doing it, that's where you can just kind of like come here and then tell us about the stuff, and then you can just enjoy it with your girlfriend. But in your head, you're like picking up all the stuff and you're like, oh my gosh, holy cow. Is she seeing even what the same thing I'm seeing right now? Is this even happening? Like, this is ridiculous. Just enjoy it. How can I enjoy it when they're literally telling me what they want to do to us? How can I enjoy this film? How can I do that? Yes, I understand the actors are really nice looking people and they're really cool and they have charisma and the story, is somewhat fun, but like the things that are actually the story are frightening as hell. How can I not want to talk to you about it, right? Die Hard 3 is the perfect example of Nostro Vostro account heist. Interesting. I convinced them that they stumbled upon the new financial system and that they could have the opportunity to buy the banker's coin and then take him around for 8 years. Wait, what is that? What is that? And then dick them around for 8 years? Wait, okay, I dick them? That they stumbled upon the new financial system and that they could have had the opportunity to buy the banker's coin and then dick him around for 8 years. Sorry, Base Patsy, can you just repeat? I know you're probably saying either a slight at me in some way, shape, or form, or but I definitely want to know what the joke is, man, so I can at least laugh at myself. Even I love Patsy, man. Patsy is like a good mirror for like kind of the absurdity that I bring up. Yep, Red 1. That's the one I was thinking. Dude, Red 1 is all about the orbs. Like, they're telling you that these orbs are freaking coming in that movie, Red 1. The movie Spirited is about flipping switches, is about ripples, right? You want to make a ripple, ripple, ripple. I think I want to make a ripple, 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 right? Oh, but I can't afford the drops, right? They say drops. They say drops. Or I can't afford the ripples, right? Stuff like that. Freaking crazy, right? And one drop can be a massive wave in the ocean. Beautiful stuff, man. It's beautiful when you freaking can see what they're trying to tell you. In these Christmas movies, mind you. You know why they do it in some of these Christmas movies, especially with the big name actors? Because they know everybody's going to be watching these films. Have you seen the movie Elf? The movie Elf is literally about, I mean, I don't want to it's about freaking the horned one, right? It's literally about the horned one. And they keep showing shots of the Ring of Fire, that golden statue, right? That the building that the dad works in New York, the golden statue, I think it's Prometheus, if I'm not mistaken, and his golden circle, right? His Ring of Fire, right? All the subliminals are there, right? Every frame, every subject in the frame counts. Phantom Beat, I get it, blah. Yeah, I get very little joy out of life, the occasional chocolate milk. Yeah, the occasional chocolate milk makes me happy. A good soda every once in a while makes me happy. I drink water now mostly. I haven't drank coffee in a long time, so if I do get a coffee, I go, oh, damn, man, I freaking miss this stuff sometimes. But it's better for my mind not to be freaking consuming caffeine like that every day. And the microplastics and all that good stuff, right? Yeah, the girlfriend's like, I get it, blah. It's enough. What's another one? Dude, the Satan movie, the Santa Satan movie with Jack Black. Like, how many movies does Jack Black have to either talk about Satan or show Satan or worship Satan or literally be Satan for us to maybe think, okay, yeah, Elf is a great film. Elf is a great movie in terms of a Christmas movie where you're not like thinking about this stuff, right? But yeah, I mean that movie with the Jack Black Christmas one that came out last year. Yeah, exactly. Pagans being pagany, right? But that movie with Jack Black Christmas, what's it called? It's literally about a kid who has like kind of mental health issues, right? And his parents are ignoring him. That he basically just freaking sells his soul to the freaking devil. It's a very, very it's a messed up dark comedy that they try to make that film about, right? Hell, School of Rock, as amazing as that movie is literally him indoctrinating a bunch of kids. And I love rock music and I love metal music, but I don't always think I view it in a different way. I don't view it like it's freaking, it's the devil or anything, but it's very easy for them to do that symbolism with it because it allows them to keep doing the horns, right? They love doing this. This is one of the major signs, right? Mr. Schneebly, right? Schneelzebub, right? Beelzebub, Schneelzebub, Mr. Schneebly. Yeah, that's a great movie, dude. I love that movie when I was growing up, too. School of Rock is awesome. Still a great movie. Like, I'll put aside that stuff, because it's just it's still fun to watch, but, like, that's some of the subtext, right? How many movies does freaking Will Ferrell have to be in, right? Same type of thing, right? Where he's the head of something or the lead of something, and he does some shady-ass stuff, right? But in Elf in particular, it's, like, definitely the fallen angel storyline, right? And yeah, I mean, sees you when you're sleeping, knows when you're awake, knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Be good for goodness sake, everybody, because the naughty and nice list is coming without a doubt. And they're going to be able to know everything you're doing when you're sleeping and when you're awake. It'll always be there to assist you for your betterment, right? To make it better for you, right? We'll have the tokens to be like, shut off today. Here you go. Here's 50 tokens or 50 drops for you to just shut your mouth all day and not help me out with anything. I don't need your help. I'm going to go surfing. I'm going to go out and enjoy the beach. Here, how about you put a nice little VPN window around my body so no drone can freaking try to kill me while I'm just enjoying the freaking beach. A lot of great movies that lose their pizzazz once you can see exactly Turbo Nipple. It's very sad. And it makes you appreciate ones that are just genuinely trying to like speak from the soul or trying to like really bring real light to the situation. Yep, definitely recognitions of patterns, my man, Turple Nurple, for sure. They speak in signs and symbols, right? Numbers and symbols, they love it. Shout out to everybody here. Guys, we've been streaming for almost 2 hours. I appreciate y'all, and we've started to get into like super weird places here. We were talking just crypto, and then after we moved on from the crypto, we're here. But once again, just focusing on X cryptos that can provide decentralized recovery, because that's going to be a use case that's going to be absolutely necessary, that already separates a very few projects from many, right? If you cannot provide, recovery of assets, why would this be important? Once again, you're a big money provider. You're doing big volume through the blockchain. And let's say you make a mistake, right? How can you recover these assets? These platforms or these protocols will allow for that to happen. Not every protocol can do that, and it's probably very difficult to do so. You probably need your tech to be aligned in a certain way to even be able to do decentralized recovery. Hybrid blockchain infrastructures where they can allow private and public payments. That sounds very interesting. Where they have KYC, know your customer, or know your agent, or know your tech, right? KYT, KYA, KYC, right? Those are already great filters to try to find great quality platforms and digital assets, right? Are they NIST aligned? Because that means they're really trying to work, to facilitate large amounts of volume and payments, right? Especially for banks and institutions. Then being able to provide decentralized recovery, being able to provide decentralized storage, or have a decentralized storage solution provider for your protocol. That's big. This is why we like There's only a few that have decentralized storage really that are out there, right? Filecoin, Siacoin, AKT, XPX, StoreX, Edge Network, right? But then trying to find the ones that will allow for fog computing, which goes beyond the cloud, right? What are the technologies that are going to be already prepared today for something like fog computing, right? This helps you find some really good quality tech out there that makes you, positive in your investment, that makes you optimistic and help you hold through the hard times with your investment. But once again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a pro trader, and I'll never tell you what to do. I am always wrong, but the Blue Foundation is always right. This is the worst show with the best community, and I'm so grateful to Vic Gear. Dude, shout out to you, brother, for the donation earlier, the $50 donation. If you guys want to donate in some other way, in the description below, we're happy to accept coffee money through our Coinbase ID. And then, of course, we have our Ember app referral code there that you can mine extra Satoshis with us by using the referral code. And then, of course, we have our Swash referral code. We got a Merc store. We got the whole thing. Appreciate y'all. Hopefully we see you guys either on Saturday or Sunday. We have a hard time streaming on the weekends now up until the end of the year. This is the year where I'm probably the most busy, but we'll definitely try to make time to stream Monday through Friday. Appreciate everybody. Always grateful. Thank you, Blue Foundation. Thank you, Green Giants. And thank you, Deep Red Alliance. The future is distributed ledger technology, and the future is bright. Our future is bright. We got the golden eyes. We got the blue eyes, and we keep it crypto. I'll see you guys in the orb. Adios.